Out of me, called me, said, Daly, I'm going to sue you. And for the first time in my life, I formalized these words and I said, sue me? I'm going to sue you.
Daily Logic Check.
Welcome to the lawyer edition of Daily Logic Check, where we actually discuss logic. I'm Elizabeth Vargas, your host, with my co-host, Andrew Vargas. Today we have a very special guest. Obviously in the house we have actual attorney, James Daly.
Great to be here. I'm James Daly. I'm an actual attorney.
Not lawyer, because lots of people practice law. You're an actual attorney.
That's right.
James, you are a local celebrity in my book as far as law is concerned, and I've hired a lot of lawyers in my time. When I met you through, I think it was Steel Platt, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we were out on Steel's yacht that he earned from beer money. And you struck me as a really keen personality. You were sharp, and I was like, he's got to be a lawyer. You know, there's no way he's not. And then you said you mentioned that you were in law, but you also mentioned the type of law that you practice has morals. Which is, in law, that's very unique. So before we get started, I want to explain to my audience, I want to read the first paragraph of your website. Okay. So this is when they go to your Daily Law Group. This is what they hear. Nestled in the vibrant heart of Newport Beach, California, the Daily Law Group stands as your fierce champion. We fight for you in your business in structuring organizations and in trials and arbitrations involving fiduciary cases, partnerships, and personal injury. This is the best part. We confront all adversaries from crafty con artists in Orange County. Just kidding.
True.
Yeah, that's what caught my eye. Multinational corporations underpinned by our impressive 97% success rate. Mm-hmm. Okay. This is an impressive repertoire as it is, but tell me, how did you get into law in the first place? Like, why this type of law, and where did you come from? Are you a local?
So I grew up in Wisconsin, and actually how I became an attorney is a true story. Fourth grade, you know, back in Wisconsin, you had thermoses, and it was cold. And Jimmy Collins in the fourth grade had his lunchbox next to Jimmy Daly, and I reached for mine, and I did hit his. Anyways, his lunchbox falls on me, smashes his thermos, and breaks. And Jimmy was okay with it, but that night his parents were yelling at him. He called me and said, Daly, I'm going to sue you. And for the first time in my life, I formalized these words and I said, sue me? I'm going to sue you. Well, I knew right there I was going to be a lawyer. And that is exactly what I did.
Fourth grade, you said?
Fourth grade.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not. It's completely true.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what happened after that? You told your mom? Did you go home and tell your mom, hey, Mom, this lunch pail jerk is trying to sue me and I'm over it?
No, but no, that just ended. You know, parents get it's a $2
and so
device.
Where did you go to college? Where did you go to school for law?
Went to Pepperdine. Came out from Wisconsin, went to Pepperdine.
Much nicer weather?
It was exactly. I mean, Wisconsin is so cold. It's so cold. Yes. Went there. It's just a great university. We had like Chief Justice Rehnquist teach a con law class during the summer. Every Supreme Court justice would come out and do a gig there. It was really awesome.
I saw some young pictures of you. You were a hot. I mean, you're hot now, but you're a hot lawyer. You're like sitting on you and Steele, and you're sitting on cars and doing your like lawyer thing.
Yes, well, I can't help it. I'm blessed with good genes.
Right?
It's natural, right?
No, wait, how tall are you?
5'11".
Okay, let's talk about your physique later. Anyway, back to law. So 5'11", but anyway, so back to law. I love lawyers.
Yes, we're like prophylactics for social intercourse. Some of my friends think they could get by without one, but they end up pregnant with the problem.
A whole different way to explain wrap it up.
There you go. Wrap it up legally.
So you go to college. And how did you end up in Orange County? What happened?
So I got a job with a law firm called Morris, Polish, and Purdy. They had 3 offices, one in LA, one in Orange County, one in San Diego. And I was hired by Morris, Polish, and Purdy to do the Orange County office. So I came down here. And just never left. I mean, I moved into Newport Beach and
did you wait, you came down here, but did you get online and search for the job, or how did you find the
There was
job?
no online. There was no online.
Oh.
I did things with
how
a
old are you?
letter. We sent letters. We had a telefax. I mean, we, yeah, we, you know, I
That
brought
was
a
before that. It was before the internet sound.
Yeah, I brought in a computer, a Mac, and it was this box, and you had to shove things into this.
Okay.
And my law firm just ripped on me because it was like I was doing secretary work.
So you didn't do the online Google search for a job
No,
on
and just go show
monster.com.
up.
You actually had to.
No.
But how did you find the job? I'm just curious. How did you find the job in California if you're in Wisconsin?
Well, no, I went to law school at Pepperdine.
Oh, Pepperdine.
I stayed
I
here.
see.
Yeah,
You
that's
went to
up-
Pepperdine, and then okay, got it.
That's
got
up
it,
in
got it.
Malibu, right?
Yeah,
Up in Malibu.
I
Okay,
never went
got
home.
it.
Every
Got
summer
it.
I worked
Okay,
there.
I get it. Obviously, I didn't go to college because I don't know what Pepperdine is.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I went to music school. I have a very limited vocabulary.
Oh, it's beautiful up there.
There's 10,000 schools you shouldn't need to know where they're all at.
Okay.
You're good. You're good.
I know where Yale is. Right.
Now, the only reason I knew of Pepperdine was they had the Battle of the Network Stars.
Yeah.
And so they would show this whenever there was a writer's strike in Hollywood. They would have, because live sports was not on strike. So they had Howard Cosell and they had all these sports athletes, but all the NBC, ABC, and CBS would have these like Special Olympics at Pepperdine's campus.
I've heard of Pepperdine. It's been in movies. That's how I know Pepperdine, but I didn't realize, where it was. So you ended up here, you're stuck here, and then you're like, Orange County. Now, I know you. I've seen photos of you riding horses. You got the American flag in the background. You're really, really into your country.
I do love our country. I love our
patriot.
our Constitution. I
Yes.
really believe, in the Bill of Rights, you can't just pick and choose which one you're going to like or not like. You have to love them all. And I have a great, passion for that. And so you don't need to have a political party to be an American. You just have to love our country.
I agree.
So what you just said kind of hit a note for me. You said that you don't need to pick one or the other. You have to love them all. Can you explain that?
Well, so some people maybe like the First Amendment, but they don't like the Second.
Yeah.
And the second being the right to bear arms. Well, you can't have free speech unless you can probably bear arms
Right.
and form a militia. And then, then the people talk about what kind of guns they should have. And it's like, well, what was the purpose of the Second Amendment? How did we start as a country? We had to fight a war against a government. And so we never wanted to let the government have our weapons.
Right.
And so those weapons had to be
Protected.
all weapons.
It was important. It was after speech, it's guns, and that's second one out of the hundreds we have now.
And we are, people always talk about us as a democracy. We're not a democracy.
Nope.
We are a constitutional republic. There have been democracies in this world, and one of them was really efficient. It was in France. Now, a democracy is 50% plus, 51% basically. So 51% decides everything. In France, they worked so well they had to develop a particular device to enforce it, and that was called the guillotine. And you did not want to be in that 49%. Right. So our country, we have democratic process.
Okay.
The outcome has to be liberty. Yes. And if it isn't liberty, then we're doing something wrong.
Where do you think we're at right now then with our government? I mean, obviously, liberty is the outcome, and we are where we are right now. As the government stands, I don't feel that we're on a mission for liberty. I feel like we're on a mission for failure. So how do we, where do you feel we're being attacked by something. I don't know what it is, and I'm not political, but I do know that the party that's, there's some power out there. I don't know what party it is, who it is, and I'm not going to mention it on my podcast, but what are they trying to do to our country? I feel like they're trying to make it more of a communist state of mind. Like, you listen to me like what they did in Canada, with the truck drivers.
Absolutely.
They're like, you don't listen to me. I'm taking your bank account away. Isn't that communism?
And it wasn't even that. It was people who were supporting the people who were not listening, who got their bank accounts seized.
Yeah, it's a totalitarianism. Yeah. And I mean, our country fought so many things. We fought
just to be
communism,
free.
Nazism.
Yeah. Our veterans, they're here. We're here because of how we fought and who we fought, right?
Yeah.
But now it's like, I sort of came to a conclusion recently that, like California, it's not that there's Democrats that run the whole thing. I think there's just about 4 families that just are in things for power and greed.
Yeah.
And
I
they
believe,
don't care about
yes,
any of us.
Yes, it's family agendas. I heard that, as far as just left or right or orange or yellow, pink, whatever the color, whatever the side, that it's actually these families that are at this top tier that are running running the government. And I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, you've heard that. I mean, I've heard it on TikTok.
Yeah, well,
It must be true then.
Yeah, who are the people that originally originated the railroad tracks, and you got Henry Flagler, you got all those back end families from back in the day that actually still control the government to this day, and they actually control who's elected. Now, is that a conspiracy theory, or do you really think that's true?
I think it's true. I mean, I think that.
Because how did Biden get elected? I want to know this. He can't talk. Oh wait, should I say that on my?
Don't get me started on that. Yeah. I don't know. I'll tell you what. It's
an interesting time right now. I think we look very weak when we have a president who can't stand on a podium.
If we don't think our president's doing good, the entire world's going to see it in even a worse light. We're not looking good.
The safest world is a strong America, a strong economy, and our economy is what helps people keep in order because they want to sell to us.
Well, whether it be Democrat or whether it be Republican, whatever party is in office needs to be strong. We can't be the weak party.
Yeah.
Because we ran over, and now I feel like we're weak. I feel like, I leave my house and I feel like we're weak. We go to LA and you see just all the shit going on up there. You go to San Francisco, New York. I feel like we're just crumbling and weak. We need that power, that pole position back. We don't have it. That's how I feel as a citizen, and I just don't feel strong right now. And I used to feel, and it's not like I was like, oh, America, pride, yeah, fuck yeah. I was more like, I was proud to raise my flag because I believed in our government, whether it be Democrat or Republican. I believed in our government. Now I'm scared of our government, and I don't want to be scared of the people that work for us. Our taxes pay for government officials, for all their paychecks. Like we all work together. This is an ecosystem. Why do I feel?
Yeah.
It just feels backwards right now.
Oh, and it's like paying taxes is one thing, but where's your taxes going to go? They go to people that you wouldn't invite to dinner. They take everything you own. They discourage you from being successful. And, it doesn't seem to be getting better.
But as a lawyer, you being so explain to my audience what type of law you practice. I know there's 3 things that you live your life by.
Okay, so first is, I believe that so my area of law I call is fiduciary abuse litigation, and it can be summed up really in one word, and that's betrayal. People who you trusted, people who you relied on, who betrayed you. And there's like 3 types of cases that they typically fall in, and they sound very biblical. It's like Cain and Abel, the Cinderella story, and then the trustee who can't be trusted. And
that's what I want to hear about.
Those are all.
No, not you, Andrew. Sorry.
Those are all actual cases.
You are my trustee, I think.
Every type of case fits into one of those categories, and they're just so straightforward. So it's, we live in Orange County. There is like a con man every 5 feet you go anywhere.
Yes, there is.
And everybody has such a great idea. It's such a beautiful idea. And this guy's going to invest. And that guy, he did so well in that other company. I'm sure he's going to do well here. And you put 50 grand in, 100 grand in, and the guy's driving around in a Ferrari, and you don't see any return on anything.
So that's what you deal with.
Yeah, and actually what's interesting is why I even have that as a career is because there's a lack of prosecution in both our FBI and our AUSA and our local sheriff's department, police departments, and really our DA, because they can handle things that are like bank robberies. But you get into any sophisticated stuff, they don't really touch it. And I have taken cases, tied them up in a bow, and even had an FBI agent come with me undercover on a case. And then we presented it to the AUSA, that's the Assistant U.S. Attorney. Okay. And the FBI are just policemen, and they won't take a case anywhere unless there's a prosecutor who's going to prosecute it. And so they want all these big headline cases. But the real damage is to folks like my parents, your parents, people that $100,000 is their entire investment.
Right.
And for me to take a $100,000 case, I can't really do that. And I try really hard because, if you chase some guy that's snorting
Morals
it or
and money
driving
don't
it,
match.
Yeah,
James.
there's no money left. Where are you going to get it?
Yeah.
And those are the cases that the government should actually prosecute, because we put our all money in, and you put $1, I put $1, and together we have this system that'll take cases that you can't afford and I can't afford. And they shouldn't be the billion-dollar cases. They really should be the smaller cases that no one can really prosecute but the government or all of us combined.
That's what tax dollars are supposed to be for.
It should be.
Well, like healthcare, if you can't afford it, the government offers it. So, like
Yes.
lawyers, like if you can't afford it, but you just lost your whole life that you worked
Somebody
for,
should fight for
somebody
you.
should help and fight for you.
Unfortunately, so I have to really pick and choose those cases and try to go after the defendants that have some assets that are available, or there's real estate.
Yeah.
Like I represent this little guy. He's a World War II vet, 97 years old. He came back and he was an original Muscle Beach guy, and he's just great. That's probably why he's lived so long. And he meets this lady, and she is going to help him. She really wants to help him.
The help.
And
The help.
he needs some help. And she had a dog, which loved his dog, apparently. Anyway, she ends up buying a house for her cat charity. So I call this case the Carol Baskins case. So she owns a cat charity. She takes $700,000 from him to buy a house for her cats. Takes another $1 million of his to buy her own house.
Because of a nonprofit?
Yeah, but she's just literally giving it to herself, basically. And she
There's a
runs
lot
the
of that.
charity. She
There's a lot
takes
of
the
charity
money.
fraud for sure.
Oh my God! And there's again, we brought that case to the sheriff's department up in LA. They don't have a district attorney that prosecutes. So we've been in trial on that case. My client's now 97 years old. We're waiting for the judgment.
She
to come
took a veteran $700,000 to buy a house for her cat charity.
1.75.
Yeah, but actually, he had probably $4 million originally, and now he has nothing. And so I got that one house we sold, so we got like $700,000 on that, but
That's
we're still
unfortunate.
waiting. Yeah. Oh yeah.
She's going to jail, I hope. God, isn't that
I
terrible?
would love that, but it is
Yeah.
not the case. They haven't prosecuted her. I've got her
They look at it like
perjury
she
on the
bought
stand.
cats. She's a charity. Oh.
No. Look, there's a lot of celebrities that have donated to her bogus charity as well. So.
Oh, so she's a con artist.
Oh, she is
Yeah.
really.
501c3 con me.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But those are my strong belief is though that I should be out of business and the district attorney should be handling those cases.
Is there, okay, so I know that there's the board, right? The lawyer, what do you call that? I'm sorry.
The state bar.
State bar.
Yes.
So can't they create an association or because every single, lawyers have them. We got the unions. Shouldn't we, doesn't the law industry have a way to create a platform for that type of law or that you could maybe advocate for? Or?
Well, so a lot of law firms do pro bono stuff.
Okay.
But I still have overhead and I still have employees, so
what
it's
I mean,
hard
so
for
you
me
don't
to
have
do
to
it
do
alone.
all of it. Isn't there? Couldn't you get a pool of lawyers to help you?
They already do that, kind of, but there's just people got to work for money, and if these people don't have money to pay, it's hard to get people that they got to pay their bills.
Yeah.
Those are the hardest phone calls to take
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So then you try to get a group of the people who've been conned together to see if they can pool it together.
Yeah.
But
Class action con pool.
like
Pool
mass
con.
torts, yeah, it's a challenge.
But what you're saying is you think that they shouldn't have to pool their resources to hire someone like you. The state should be, all the tax dollars they get, that should be helping protect them.
Yeah, it's
Not
like
you.
that broken window theory in the inner city. If you let one broken window go, the whole city will go that way. If you force people to replace those windows, then those little incremental things will keep the city better. If you prosecute the smaller crimes, you won't lead to the bigger crimes. And we're ignoring the smaller crimes. Those are the crimes that, are the
Really-
gateway crimes.
Really ignoring
So
them.
what about this type of crime as far as 501c3 is concerned? We have obviously a huge problem and a crisis, a drug crisis in California, like
Yes.
big time. I mean, it's in San Francisco, it's in New York, everywhere, but I live here, so the nonprofits are convincing people by doing these GoFundMes, oh, donate to help these homeless people in this area, in this area, in this area. So not only is the government taking tax dollars to pay $1 million a year per homeless person, which still lives on the street, they don't have apartments, they don't have cars, they have nothing, because they're drug addicts. They are also taking funding from private people like you and me and everybody, like, oh, we need help for this person, showing, homeless kids and families and getting this money. That's a con to me. That's a big con. These people are conning people like you and me on GoFundMe to donate to I got conned. That's why I was so pissed. I donated to this lady saying that she went around and handed out these blankets. Well, she didn't do shit.
Yeah, exactly.
She took the money, and I saw, where's the pictures? Well, she took photos of another woman doing a real charity, and she conned me. I got conned out of thousands of dollars. So for me, I'm like, you can't do anything about that, right? There's no law stating that will protect me. Like, I can't go back to that con artist who gave me a 501c3 number that was fake. I mean, is there any?
Yeah. All right. So the law that I use in every one of my cases is a really good one. It's probably the best law in California, and maybe in the country. It's California Penal Code Section 496, and that's the receipt of stolen property law. And so even though it's a penal code, so it's a criminal law, Section C of 496 allows essentially a private attorney general action. And so this is where it has some cool teeth. It allows a guy like me to sue somebody for a violation of Section A, which is receipt of stolen property, and I get 3 times damages plus attorney's fees. So that is what I use, and it's pretty simple. I mean, basically, you lied, I had property, you have it now, I want it back. That's really it.
And then you could sue for more money to pay for you and everybody else.
Yeah, you get treble damages plus attorney's fees.
Really? What's that again? What?
496 Charlie. I wrote an article on it.
Is that just here in California?
There are other laws in other states like
I don't remember that.
But this is our law. And I have a case against American Express right now. A client of mine, somebody got a business check of his, and American Express will, if you go on to American Express and you want to attach an account to pay your bill, so if you're a con man, close your ears. If you're a con man, all you have to do is take someone's check. It's not your check. You have your American Express bill, and you just take the account number, the routing number, the name on the check, and answer one question. Is it a checking account or a savings account? Well, if you're holding on to a business check that you just paid off to somebody, and that business owner happens to be crooked or has a crooked employee, they can take that information, just right on the face of your check, attach it to their American Express account, and every month ding your account. And my client had that happen over 18 months, $388,000.
Shut up!
Before they figured it out?
Yeah, he did not figure it out. At the end of the year, when he's going to pay his taxes and whatnot, he finds out there's no money there. His, I guess his bookkeeper at the time thought that, well, it's coming out every month. It must be, somebody must have this. And no. And so I have that case.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Oh, I know. Well, American Express knows they can do that. They're fighting me tooth and nail.
They just want their payment. They don't care where it comes from.
They don't care.
So you're trying to, you're using this case to try to get them to make some changes.
Yeah. Well, and I'm also trying to get my client's money back. I'm using 496 Charlie. So banking system, man, they'll take your money if you don't check your statement. So if you check your statement and within 30 days you complain that there's a charge on it that isn't yours, they will pay that back. But not everybody looks at their statement.
Right.
Not everybody does.
Right.
And if you wait over 30 days, then you're stuck with it.
Wow.
So the banks, I mean, even American Express, if you try to call them to tell them that somebody was stealing money out of your account, and if you don't have an American Express account, they won't talk to you because you're not an account holder.
See, I don't really use Costco got rid of American Express, right? The American Express doesn't have as many benefits as they used to. They're not really a great, the good customer service is lacking. They charge me weird little fees that just pop up. I'm like, where did this $4 come from? I don't care. It's $4. That's my Hulu account. Okay, that's a whole month of Hulu for $4.99 or whatever it is, Yeah. And then I just keep getting these random charges, and I'm like, what the?
I love that you actually check your statements.
I do. I'm actually, ask Andrew. I check every single dime that
Yeah,
goes in
I do
now.
too. I work too hard for my money to give
Yeah.
to somebody else.
My God, I'll tell you what, that's just, that's what we should all do. And by the way, that's what American Express, one of their defenses is blaming my client for not checking his statement.
Yeah.
But it's really simple though. From all of his bank statements, money went directly from his account to their account. And so when we think of receipt of stolen property, he didn't authorize them to have his money. He didn't give approval for the money to be transferred. They have it in their account, and we asked for it back. So,
Daily Logic Check.
One of the areas of law that I'm really intrigued to talk to you about, because we're in Orange County specifically, and there's a lot of money here, and there's a lot of trusts and a lot of
yes.
lawyers and organization regarding where your money goes during your life or, and after your life. What type of trust lawyer, what type of law do you, so you say you con artists and trust litigation. So
How does a trust work?
Well, so a trust is just a way to hold your assets in sort of a, in like a shoebox. So you would, like your house. You could have the Elizabeth Vargas Living Trust. And what is it? Well, it's a document that says, when I die, this should go here or this should go here. And you would be listed as Elizabeth Vargas as trustee of the Elizabeth Vargas Living Trust. And so you retitle the house in that. Now, if you pass or become incompetent, your successor trustee would go on title, and it'd be successor trustee
of natural causes.
As trustee,
die of natural causes.
Whatever you put on there.
But what I'm saying is, you would substitute a different name in for
So he's
the
my
trustee.
trust. So all my assets are in Elizabeth Lynn Vargas Trust. So then he's my trustee. So if I was incapacitated.
So right now she's the trustee of her trust.
Yes.
Hers. But if she becomes incapacitated, I've got to deal with it.
Yeah, and then you would go on title as trustee of the Elizabeth Vargas Trust.
What's the benefits of that?
Well, so the benefit is that you don't go through probate on the house.
What does that mean?
What is probate?
Probate.
Sorry.
No, my audience needs to know this. These
okay.
are a lot of people sitting around, that need to know.
So
we're going to ask you dumb questions.
That client of mine, the old man that I've been in a trial with, and it's gone on now for almost 3.5 years of trial, and we're waiting for the judgment on that. Well, so probate is a super slow boys club kind of a courtroom system where, I don't know, they don't necessarily seem to be all that enthused about getting things done in an efficient manner.
Oh, like the not really judge. When you get divorced, you go to the
referee or something like that?
you get a judge that used to be a judge.
Oh, an arbitrator?
Arbitrator. Okay, so anyway.
No, but in probate, they're real judges. It's just that they have all these procedures that aren't very efficient.
Okay.
So they have a petition for this, a petition for that.
probate.
It's 30 days, 30 days, 60 days for a hearing.
So probate is a type of procedure.
It's a procedure to clear title to property and put it in the name of people that are entitled to it.
So my estate would then go into probate.
So she did.
No, with the trust, it would not.
Oh.
So with the trust, it goes based upon the document you created, and you avoid probate.
Oh,
If
got
you have
it.
a will, it goes through probate. If you have no will, then there's a government system that describes what the system is.
What the government gets to take.
No, it's really about. It's how the government figures that you would have wanted it.
Okay.
So if you're married, it goes
The
to your
government
husband.
gets to figure out how you wanted it.
That's why you.
Oh
need
yeah,
a-
I trust that.
That's why you need a will. That's why you need a will.
That's why you need a will then,
Or a
right?
trust.
Well, so typically a lawyer creates a trust, and then we create what's called a pour-over will. So that pour-over will is for stuff, in case it wasn't titled into the name of the trust, it would then go into the trust through probate.
So like all my jewelry and everything I have 5 siblings, so I have it all split, okay?
Perfect.
And then, so if anything happens, he's a trustee, but then I have it split. Well, now I want to change a little bit of it. You can change, that's the stuff that's like, I don't want my sister who's living on, not available right now to
What you're describing.
take the jewelry.
But you've got a will.
So I
and
have a
trust.
will and a trust, so I'm okay.
Yes.
So I can just change my will, but keep all my trusts the same.
But what should she have all her stuff in her trust?
Yeah, you put everything with the title titled into the name of the trust, Everything that doesn't have a title, you can write it in the trust.
Got it, okay.
And then the trustee is given authority over that to distribute that to the people.
That makes sense.
Okay.
But what goes through the probate and under the pour-over will is like, let's say you inherited something that you didn't put into the trust, and now that needs to be retitled. So that would go through probate. And so
If
they
I
work
have a
in
rich
tandem.
angel somewhere that wanted to gift me like $1 billion.
Well, like say she had right before she decided to be incapacitated, she bought herself a painting and she found out it was worth a lot of money, but it's not in the trust, and that would have to go through probate to figure out where it goes.
Well,
or something along that
there's
lines.
no title to it, so it probably, maybe it is in the trust.
Okay.
You would just indicate
there's no title.
The art is in the trust. You can have general categories.
Okay, all art in
the
trust.
That's why people buy art then and then just pass it down generation. Art
There's
is
a
like
lot of great
shady,
reasons for art.
Black and white. It's a gray area. Art is a gray area.
Art can be, you can borrow against art. Art can be a holder of value. It's a thing.
Unless you find out it's fake like I did when I was married.
Oh my God, really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He switched everything out to fake. When I was getting divorced, I was like, it's fake.
All right, so there is a fiduciary duty between husband and wife. So that is a breach of fiduciary duty.
Really? Oh, I wish I
Yes.
would have known that.
And
It's okay.
it would also constitute theft under that 496. So you get treble damages plus attorney's fees.
But she would have to have proven that it was done before they started getting a divorce.
Well,
Because if he'd have done it or bought a fake and just told her it was
Or
real.
claimed like I bought it thinking it was real, but I don't know how it's fake. Oh, it was appraised at $1. You're like, what?
so yeah, if
Yeah.
so that goes back into the word betrayal.
Yeah.
And then if somebody
go.
is
What was that?
being truthful,
Betrayal.
betrayal.
Ladies, everybody out there that understands the housewife world, we know that world.
Yeah, that's really the sum of it.
Yeah.
I'm in this group of lawyers, and we practice what we do, and we have a ranch that we go to, and we really get into the role of being the trial lawyer that we are. That's why I call
Oh, is that
myself
the horse people that you ride with? Those are great.
No, that's another good group. No, this was a group created by Jerry Spence, who's one of the greatest trial lawyers ever, and we do things called psychodrama, and we really try to get into recreating a scene. So you can take a story that would sound like you could tell a story like a breach of contract in a very dry, two-dimensional A plus B equals
Or you
C.
can add some vibrancy to it and get some juice out
So
of it.
so you guys get together and basically are almost like training.
We're training, yeah, and I would say it's storytelling.
Yeah.
It's inflection. It's how you describe things. It's using your senses to describe something so that,
Is that to make it more attractive for the judge to understand, or is that just
Or
to
the
flex
people.
your mind so that you stay sharp?
no, it's
the
really
jury,
so
'cause
you can tell the story so the jury understands it.
I had a situation in my life where I knew for a fact this person didn't do anything wrong, but I sat in the court and listened to all of it. And the judge, the prosecutor was so good, convinced me that person did something wrong, even though I know I was there. Nothing happened. They got found not guilty. But the prosecutor was so good at telling a story, convinced me. And I was like, were they being illegal? I guess they were.
How often do you have to go to trial?
I don't know, maybe every 6 months or so.
Okay.
This year I have 3 trials set right now.
Oh wow.
August.
But they might not get
26th
there.
is one of them.
Then
No,
they'll probably get there?
Yeah, they'll probably go. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's what we do. Being a trial attorney, it's a perishable skill, so you need to do more. So on my website, you said I do personal injury. Look, I do those cases because they go to trial quicker, more often.
Right.
The big cases that I handle, they take years, and they take like 7 weeks for a trial. I mean, my God. You want to have your skills up and ready. You want to know the
Take
evidence.
the little ones to keep you tuned in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you work a lot with family law lawyers?
I do. I mean,
Because your trust.
well, it's really estate
Specialty.
planning, but the family law. I mean, there's so many
Because
divorces.
that's just a gray, weird. Family law is just out there. Like, there's no start or finish. It's like, well, we'll just take your house for our lawyer fees. Don't worry about it. We're going to drag this on another 2 years because we know we can bill you.
But that is actually what probate's like. I tell you, that's what it's like. And I mean, it seemed to me, and so I'm a civil trial lawyer. When I have to go into the probate court, they all look at me funny because our pleadings are like lawyerly, and
You're either actual attorney.
we're like asking for people, we demand things, and they're really in sort of just doing the process, going through, getting this checkbox or that checkbox. It's really hard to get them to see outside of it. And then when I started bringing the 496, the theft claims, they were like, "Oh, we don't know what this is. Can we do this?" And it's like, "Oh, I got to re-educate everybody there too."
Are they young lawyers? Are they in probate? Or are they educated?
No, not generally. They're not generally young people in probate.
People
I'm probably younger
How did you
in probate.
end up in probate? How do lawyers end up in probate? Because that seems miserable.
I don't know. They don't have a lot of drive or.
But it's
They don't have a lot of drive. They're
is
just
a
like
probate?
dud lawyers.
We
end
called
up in
it
probate.
stiffs and gifts in law school.
The probate would be like somebody's lawyer dealing with the government to figure out how to get it through, or is it just all government?
No, it's generally the Cain and Abel who are fighting over Dad's collection of.
But who are they fighting to convince?
They're fighting each other, and then the judge is supposed to decide who gets what.
So they basically are presenting all this information to a judge, and then the
Yes.
judge decides, okay, Cain, you get it, Abel, you're.
Yes, exactly.
Because you were, okay. So but it's just the whole entire process is just really slow and not efficient.
Then if you get a professional trustee in, now this is a person that could be appointed by a judge. Now the professional trustee will not do a thing, even though it says to do it in the trust. It says give this to you, but the professional trustee will go to the court to ask permission if the person can give you this, even though it says to. Because he doesn't want that liability. So now you just cost attorney's fees for that. You delayed it months and months at a time. The market may have gone up or down, and that's these professional trustees. You ever see? There's a movie. It was called what is it like? It's like You Can Trust Me or something like that.
You can trust me.
Yeah, You Can Trust Me, and it's about these
horror stories
guardianships. These people, they come in.
Is this the one where she's a con artist and she goes into the old folks' homes, finds the rich one,
Yes.
and then
I've seen that.
and then gets them found not
gave me cringe.
incompetent, and then her company takes over, and then they can just drain all their
Yes.
Yes, that's cringy.
So I kind of think that's how it is going on. I think like think of every house in Los Angeles. There's over $1 million.
Yep.
And there's probably a few people there that are shut-ins. And so when I was fighting for my client, who is one person against this lady who took everything, who had lawyers who were backing her up, fighting me tooth and nail,
Devil's gonna
judges
get that one.
kept awarding stuff for my opponent. And we fought well beyond what we'll ever recover in that case. And did I think maybe that there was like an inside game?
Yeah.
I did. I couldn't figure it out. And it didn't make any sense. It still doesn't to this day.
When you're like A and B should equal C, and they're like, no, it's F.
And they kept gaslighting the guy too, like pretending he was incompetent. And this lady had one document that said he was incompetent, so she could use that to do things on his behalf. And the same doctor had given her another one that said he was, so that he could keep changing his estate, and she could say,
She's
"Oh, he was
probably
competent
banging
that day."
And they were letting
She's
them.
like-
They were letting her do that.
Letting her
How
do
are
that.
those people not in
Because
trouble?
she's probably giving the doctor a kickback.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, how are those people not getting in trouble?
Yeah, how do they not go to jail?
It's Los Angeles.
So
What are they
basically,
going to prosecute him? I had police officers at hearings. I had
is
sheriff's
crazy.
deputies there, and they were just as frustrated. But there was no prosecution.
People like
would
that
they-
need to burn in hell. I can't stand
absolutely.
con artists that take advantage of older. Remember that group that tried to move onto our grandparents' property
Yeah.
and squat and live in their trailer? I immediately was like, fuck this. I'm going to Oregon
Yeah.
and I'm kicking those motherfuckers. They were their cleaning service. So one lady started cleaning, then they stopped cleaning.
Yeah, they had a cleaning service, and she's like, "Well, I'm here all the time. Why don't I just stay in your fifth wheel?"
Which
And
I
just
was
start-
paying for.
And then, or the RV, they had a nice RV.
Yeah.
She's like, I'll just start staying there. And then she was trying to move into the house and like slowly making her way.
Yeah.
And then it was a big disaster.
All the family was like, whoa,
But we had-
whoa,
but-
they're
but-
living there?
But our grandparents luckily had enough family members to help intervene
But what if they
before it got
didn't?
too bad.
Well,
yeah.
so this, your listeners really should know this. So
What?
this happens all the time. Caregivers, people who come in who,
I'm here to help you.
I'm helping you.
I'm actually going to take everything from underneath
Oh, that
you.
was the movie's title. It was I Care a Lot.
I care a
Oh,
lot.
I'm
yeah.
going to watch
care
that
a lot.
again.
Yeah, that was.
So this happens here in Orange County. It happens everywhere. And the worst part is let's say that grandma might be just slightly believing that little Susie might be after her money or something like that. So these people start chirping in their ears stories about you or I to our
Look at my
parents or
last
grandparents.
assistant. Yeah.
And next thing you know, you can't contact them. All of a sudden, there's a
Yeah,
security
they
guard. or there's
isolate
somebody
them,
around.
right? And
yeah,
then, and then they
isolation.
start sucking then they get their checkbook, and then I'll pay this bill for the gardener. Next thing you know, you're just broke.
Yes, and so we as kids have to pay attention to our parents and spend more time really looking at who's around, from neighbors to assistants to people who help them, and just you have to renew your relationship with your mom and dad all the time.
It's very unfortunate. I see it a lot because I know Orange County is full of really wealthy elderly, and they're only getting older. That generation, the baby boom generation, is that age now. They're getting like that age where eventually, and people are bragging. Like I was at this gathering and I'm going to start a retirement home. We can suck them dry, and they're all getting this age. This money's going to be coming in. I'm so excited. And I listened to these bucks, and I was like,
Yeah.
that could be if I didn't have the means to take care of my mother and my father, my stepfather. I would probably have to put them in one of those. To that person that was just bragging about how they were going to suck them dry and keep them alive just long enough.
Yeah.
That's it. Just to me. So, is there any type of protection that families? So, say for instance, we didn't find out in time, and these people did move in, and we couldn't get them off the property. What type of lawyer do you hire for that? You?
Yeah, pretty much. I
Well,
mean,
who do I? So if I'm just an average viewer of my podcast, and I'm like, okay, I think like something's going on with my mom. Like my friend Christy, she had a situation with her mom's caregiver before she passed away was writing herself checks.
Yeah.
And now whether or not she was doing it maliciously or not, she was concerned and she had no one to talk to. I listened to a lot of it, but get a lawyer. Get that girl out of there.
exactly.
But I didn't know who to call. I'm like, what kind of lawyer? Is it like a state lawyer? What type of affordable lawyer? Is there an affordable lawyer, James?
Yeah,
This is what I'm asking. Is there such thing as an affordable lawyer in today's society in Orange County?
I mean, so one would be called someone who's called an elder lawyer, elder law.
Elder law?
Yeah,
Okay.
and financial elder abuse lawyer.
Okay.
And people that do that, that is exactly kind of what we're dealing with.
And do they take, like, medical profession, they take 33 1/3? Is it like, how do the lawyers get
do
paid?
take a percentage. If you don't pay them by the hour, they'll take a
They'll
percentage.
take a percentage.
But,
A little bit
again,
down and a percentage to win
like
the
a
case.
hybrid, yes.
A hybrid.
Maybe a lower, reduced hourly fee, and then a percentage of whatever you recover.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a huge problem. I used to sue nursing homes, so I really.
So you understand my pain when I hear this story of this person.
I totally do. And that's how I learned how all these corporate structures really work, and how like the nursing home operates. There's like 4 corporations. One owns the land and the building. One leases all the equipment. One leases the employees. And then you have the operator, and the operator is paying all these bills to all these people, and so they never have any money, but they're the magnet for litigation.
Oh, sounds like New York unions. Oh, just kidding.
So they break it up enough to where so if something does go south, there's nobody that those people can even sue because
They're all
everybody's
connected.
all behind a wall that they can't get to.
Correct. It's a
And that's why
yes.
do we have laws like that? That is so messed up.
So that's why they form these entities. So you have to be able to trace this stuff back.
Wow,
and
that's
I've just
crazy.
been blessed with that early education on that to follow the money and follow how that worked. And now I can just see it. I really, when I'm on a case, I have this philosophy that, if I can think it, they've already done it. And so I just sort of think, well, if I were them, what bad thing would I do? And then I go hunt for it.
Yeah.
And I'm
find
usually
it.
right.
Usually find it.
yeah. If you, and then another little key thing for people is, do you know, I'm from Wisconsin, so Vince Lombardi, great quote, winning isn't a sometime thing, it's an all the time thing. Winning becomes a habit. Unfortunately, so does losing. All right, people who lie, who steal, you catch them once on even the smallest thing, I'm telling you, they've been stealing the whole time.
Forever. Yes.
All the time. Just so little things like that. That is those are the keys on how you can determine whether somebody is defrauding you. If they lie about one thing,
For
lying
sure,
about
they've either
everything.
done it to you or somebody else forever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Same with, I was thinking we can get into the cheater conference. Just kidding.
Yes.
Anyway, we are a housewife. We are a lifestyle podcast, James. Lifestyle podcast.
it's a reality. It is
Reality lifestyle podcast.
Daily Logic Check.
I know that you deal a lot with some pretty heavy cases, and it's admirable. You going to work every day, trying to make a difference in other people's and your clients' lives, but also, how does that? I always wondered, being a lawyer or a doctor, how does that affect your personal life? Like, it seems like, I was going to say, well, what type of advice would you give my audience if they wanted to get into practicing law, and what's the barrier to entry on becoming a lawyer in your field? But I think I kind of heard it from you, which is long hours. You're trying these cases that don't pay a lot. That's the barrier to entry is the non-payment, right?
Yes.
So how do you keep afloat, and how do you keep your spirits up when you hear so much negativity on a weekly basis? I mean, do you go out what do you do? What does James do to go relax? I mean, because you take on a lot.
I do. I do. So I'm in a riding club. I go horseback riding.
Oh, you go horseback riding?
Yeah. I just came back. In fact, I was on our spring ride up in the central California. It was so beautiful. Camped out. It was freezing. Oh my God.
I had so
like full on,
snow.
like.
Oh my God, it was cold.
Nice. Cowboy status.
Cowboy, yes. We ride for 5 days out in Catalina.
Really?
I was a reserve deputy sheriff for 20 years.
Oh, that's
I did
right.
that.
Yeah, you show me your gun.
Yeah.
That was hot. I ran the journey.
Where were you a deputy?
Orange County.
Oh, no.
After 9/11, I decided I wanted to do something, give back, and so I went through the academy. I was a Harbor Patrol deputy for 14 years right here. And,
That is so cool.
I had so much fun, and that's I mean. And then I also got to be a fireman too. So the fireboat. So I got to be a police officer, a fireman.
Did you the
Now I'm
calendar?
a cowboy. and a lawyer.
Yeah.
I'm a live action figure. That's
What
what
is that
I do.
alcohol? The man of many trades. The most interesting man in the
Well,
world.
yeah.
James Daly, Daily Law Group.
I try to.
So you ride horses. You golf or anything or no?
No, I will, but
Yeah.
You will someday.
You will. When you get old.
If you invite me, I'll go. But who has
Don't
5
start.
hours to
Don't start
fiddle fuck
because
around?
it's addicting. Don't start. You'll hit that one shot, and then all of a sudden it'll be okay. All that other stuff doesn't matter. I'll be a lawyer, and I'm gonna golf.
I do golf, and I have an ego, so
I was going to say the
try to
76%
crush it.
success
see,
rate.
but I'm a YouTube golfer. Every time I hit it, I'm hitting it as hard as I can.
Yes.
I don't care where it goes because I want to hit it really hard.
And I want it to. I love it when it smacks. Goes
Yeah, and you
straight
just
out.
get that
Oh my
beautiful-
God. That's the best.
But he's used to winning, and I can just see him because you're a perfectionist. The whole website says 76%.
96.
Oh,
97.
97%.
Yes.
Oh my
97.
God, 97%.
Yeah.
Which means that if he's on the golf course and he shanks it, he's going to be pissed.
Might be a lot of mullies.
Yeah, we might have to get
we have
Yeah.
winter rules.
Yeah, exactly. It's July, but it's winter rules.
No, Andrew and I, we realized that, we keep trying to golf together because stress and relaxation, and you ride horses, but I love golf. I just don't get to golf. And so every time he comes down, we're going to go golf. And we
never do because we're too busy. We're too busy.
So
You know what's cool is the Hyatt over here has that little professional course.
they
it's
do?
It's
There's all
a
kinds
little
of nice
9-hole pitch and putt right here.
What?
Yeah.
Okay,
it's-
we'll do that.
that
Let's try
is-
that. Let's just go
Yeah.
out and just
Par
shank
threes are
it.
fun.
Yeah, it's the your turkey is cooking for Thanksgiving. You go over there and you just
That's I do. I'm a golfer. That's like my pastime. I like to do it. I live up in Washington State, and we got lots of great courses. They're not as nice as down here, but they're still really nice.
Andrew will golf in 20-degree weather.
I've
He's like,
golfed
it's
on-
snowing.
It was Christmas Day like 2 years ago. A friend and I were golfing. It started snowing on us. We had a blast.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you? Are you crazy?
I broke my driver because I didn't realize you can't take a carbon driver and hit it in the winter.
So in law school, I worked at the Malibu Country Club, and I was a marshal there, and I also worked at a golf course as a kid. So I have
So you have
golf
some
in my
golf
veins.
experience.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
I take the golf game in a very relaxed way. Most of the time I don't even try to keep score because I'm there to enjoy myself.
Yes.
And if I'm trying to focus on a score, I'm not trying to enjoy myself.
What's your favorite drink out on the course?
I don't drink.
He's never drank, ever.
I don't drink.
He
I
was
never
the best
have.
bartender.
No, I just never. I guess I saw all my friends and I was like,
Oh, that's cool.
You know, it looks like a very poor use of money. So I'd rather do something else with that.
So Andrew and I have a question for you, and we were going to ask this. It's kind of a dorky question.
Yes, I'm kind of a dork, so that'll work.
What do lawyers think of conspiracy theories?
What's the
You're so
conspiracy theory that
logical.
you believe in?
Are you a right brain or a left brain logical conspiracy theory thinker?
I think lawyers, to be a good lawyer, you're curious
Okay.
and distrustful of what the common line is. So I
Okay.
think lawyers generally will go down rabbit holes and investigate themselves.
Believe a little more than the average person because,
Be open-minded.
yes.
So do you believe the government will release an alien to sidetrack us from actually policy they're trying to create on one side, and then create the policy and we don't even know it because we saw an alien in a mall?
Exactly. Yeah, of
You
course
believe
they
that?
would. Yeah, absolutely.
Told you, Andrew.
Hey, you know what?
Aliens exist in the government, at least.
Well, I'm just saying that, there's a lot of distraction going on in the world, and it's probably for an agenda that isn't so apparent.
So you've been in the lawyer field forever. So any of your lawyer buddies in your circle of trust tell you they've actually seen a spaceship, or have you known anybody that in your
They've
lawyer
had to
have they had
litigate
to,
against an alien.
litigate against an alien, or some situation where somebody found some alien aircraft on their property and it was in the trust and anything like that?
No, but I would be open to handle that case.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
If you have one, I'm James Daly, your alien lawyer. Yes, I'll do that. I'll sue for you.
I mean, imagine if aliens did exist and went landed in your backyard. Who owns that spaceship? Because no one owns space. So who owns a spaceship if it came from space?
Yeah, well,
Probably the government. They would come
Why?
and
No,
take
But not
why?
probably. Does the government actually own the spaceship? Or
I
not?
would say finders keepers.
Thank
So,
you.
so you're saying is in general, if say something fell out of the sky and landed on mine, it should be mine, right?
Well, unless it's somebody else's.
Already, and there's proof that it's somebody else's.
Yeah, but how would that be?
There's nobody else's because it's an
It's
alien. And
nobody
we
else's.
don't have any
If a
paperwork.
rock, an asteroid falls, it's yours. You find it, right? Why wouldn't that be any different?
This comes to a whole new topic I want to talk to you about. Okay, if that's the case, if it falls and we don't know where it came from, what if I'm on a ranch, say my property in La Quinta, and I'm digging, and I find a big pile of money that
Yes.
came from El Chapo? Just kidding.
Yeah.
No, not that I did. But what if I found a stash?
Yeah.
Is that my stash? Should I report it, or whose stash is that?
I just read an article about that. Somebody they found it.
Because you could find there's stashes all over La Quinta.
Two people started fighting for it. The government got involved and gave 90% of the money to the original owners of the gold coins, and only gave the two people who found it because they were fighting about it 5% each.
So do you have to?
Yeah, you should, because that's the ethical thing is if you found somebody's wallet and
What
it's
if it's
not
a drug
yours.
dealer's wallet? Does it matter?
But yeah, it matters
Okay.
probably because let's say it is a drug dealer's wallet, and is he going to claim it? I mean,
What if he's dead? Is El Chapo dead?
so So if you found it, should you report it and then wait till no one shows up and get it all back? Because that's what they typically do. I mean, that's certainly the ethical thing to do on camera that I would tell you.
Yeah, that's absolutely what you should do.
That's right.
Should I put on my fake glasses for you?
Yes, of course I would do
A
that.
couple $1 billion in cash under my property in the lake.
But yeah, if you found somebody's wallet, you should probably turn it in. And then if they don't claim it, then
So again, the only
Well, of course, the wallet. I just
only
mean
wa-
like if it's illegal, like not illegal, but if you buy a piece of property, you've been on it for 5 to 10 years.
Yes.
You're building a pool, and you dig down and you find somebody's stash from back in the day that you don't know whose it is. There's
But
no
if
trace.
they could figure out whose it is, then you legally would have to give it back to them if they didn't give it away or
But
whatever.
hang on though. I mean, in a scenario like that, you bought the property.
Right, you bought it.
Everything
You bought
on
everything
it.
on that property.
So I don't know why you wouldn't think that you bought that as well. And the
Just 'cause you
person who
didn't know it was
sold
there.
it to you probably knew it was there, or somebody, or whoever sold it to them knew it was there. However, that chain of title came.
It's
it
yours because
eventually
logically
came to
you purchased it, you own title, that's yours. Now, if you have a mortgage, technically the government owns title and they could claim it, right? So if you paid it off cash, you own that property. There's no mortgage, so the government doesn't own it.
No,
or
the
whomever,
government doesn't
the
own it
lending
if you have a
companies.
mortgage. Some bank has a loan against it, but you have title to it.
Oh, okay, you still have
It's
title
still
to
yours.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
And so how far down does the dirt go? Like,
Oh,
can you say you found it like 30 feet, 40 feet down? When you buy a piece of property, how far down does your property go to the center of the earth?
Well,
I'm just curious.
You own all the way up to the sky and all the way to the center of the earth. So.
We are the world.
But you don't own your mineral rights on your own property, not unless you actually.
Yeah. So some of them you don't own certain parts of your property, like mineral rights.
What
like
about
oil
water
rights,
rights under your property?
Like oil, water.
Water
It
right.
depends what's in the actual title. We call it fee simple absolute. And so when you own a piece of property in fee simple absolute, you own everything above and everything below. And then, in how we get it these days, they've carved out things for mineral rights or water or oil sometimes.
In case somebody
Whoever
wants to
had
dig underneath the property and steal everything from you.
So, and even that, it's, well, you may not own it. Somebody else may have the right to claim it, but it probably doesn't allow somebody to side drill and get it from you that doesn't in either of those people.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting.
But all of this goes back to the receipt of stolen property idea. You to be in receipt of stolen property, you had to know it was stolen when you received it.
Got it.
Let's say you didn't know it was stolen when you received it. You found the property. It's the money in the hole. And
Yeah.
now that you have it, no one is saying it's stolen. And if somebody then comes to you and says it was their property, then you would have a duty to give it back to them. So
If they can prove it.
but if they can prove it and you're holding on to it, then you're withholding stolen property. You should have known it was stolen because it wasn't yours to begin with. Somebody, somehow you got it.
So I have a lot of smart thinkers and listeners and smart viewers on my podcast. In fact, I have a lot of smart people that follow me. They respond, they love to engage, and they love questions, comments, and concerns, and to voice their opinions. So my question to you would be, is there anything, okay, so a lot of them, I have 97% women on my followers, which is awesome. I love my followers. They're great. Oh, yeah, there you go. Mr. Daly. He gives a whole new world of Daly group. Daily group therapy.
I love, you're using my name in your show.
Daily logic. Daily logic. Oh, my God, I didn't even think about that. That's hilarious.
That's why I came on here. I thought it was my show.
Oh,
I thought it was your
my
show.
God, I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think that.
Daily Logic Check.
So, is there any advice as far as like their children and their kids, setting it up to where, like, what to look for just to protect your kids from anything, like something that you've dealt with when it comes to family?
Yes.
That you could give advice to them for? Because, I mean, it could be anything. I don't really know what to ask you because I don't have children,
So,
but
like-
I know my brother does.
I mean, one thing is, I think if you have things, it'd probably be best to give your kids things now that you can see them with, than really hold off and later on. Because I've seen too many things happen over time where you don't get to enjoy those things and see your kids enjoy the things. I would say give things more often now than later.
Okay, that's great. I think that's
yeah.
great advice.
I've seen, and then people, spouses. I wouldn't put your son's spouse in charge of your trust as a second trustee or give them powers of appointment or things like that. Because divorce happens all the time and you just never know. And so, everybody looks wonderful on Facebook and so happy. And that might even be true in your own family.
Facebook, you're aging yourself, Mr. Daly.
Oh, whatever. I don't
We already know the demographic that, 45 to 55.
On my MySpace.
MySpace.
know your Instagram, but
On your dial-up,
yeah, your AOL Messenger. Yeah, you got that. If you do that, you can find that all of a sudden your family is not being cared for in the manner that you wish. Like a husband, let's say, passes away, and now the spouse has it, and she marries, and all of a sudden your wealth is not going to your grandkids.
It's going to that new husband's family.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so I would just keep it in the family.
So
keep it in the family.
Would good advice be people need to pay attention more to their daily lives so they can't get taken advantage of?
I do think we have to be more on guard, and I agree with that abundantly.
Because
Absolutely.
if you don't pay attention, you're just living and you're focused on yourself and not every other aspect, that's when people can take advantage of you or somebody in your life.
True, but you shouldn't blame yourself, and don't let yourself feel like it's your fault. A lot of my clients who've been taken advantage of are too proud to admit it. Very big families, people that are very wealthy and very heads of corporations that you think have this team around them to protect them. And they don't. They're really good about the one thing that made them money, but they're not that good about all the other things going on. And everybody hates the government in terms of taxes. So some guy comes to you telling you that he has this tax strategy, and the strategy is just give him everything and you won't have any taxes.
Right.
That is a
I
strategy
had somebody try to
that's
do
worked.
that. Oh, make me your trustee, and I will do. Literally, a Las Vegas lawyer thought I was just a complete idiot and tried to do
Yes.
that to me.
So that's what happened in this big case I had against the Stuvey family, the founders of the Altadena Dairy. Their lawyers created a Christian foundation.
Oh, God.
It was the Good
Religion.
Stewardship Foundation. And the Good Stewardship Foundation, the only good stewards were the two lawyers. And this is a great other part of this is the lawyers kept telling each of the kids and their parents not to share information with each other. And so they weren't sharing information, so the attorneys were able to compartmentalize
And
the
just
lies.
manipulate the bullshit.
And every one of them had a piece of the puzzle, but none of them ever put the puzzle together.
So if they would have not listened to their lawyers and actually talked as a family,
Yes.
they would have been exposed way sooner and probably never as much damage would have happened.
Correct.
Well, you know what I found is, I don't know if it's because I've been more successful now than I've ever been in my life, and without my ex-husband. So I own my assets, I own everything. I did it myself, right? So it's like, okay, and now I own my stuff and I earned it, and it's hard to keep it.
So proud of you.
Thank you. But you know what I've noticed is that there are con artist leeches. I feel like I'm on guard with everybody, and my family actually suffers from it. Because I'll be
Yes.
so stressed that this person's a con artist. Like, I've had personal assistants just completely try and hack me and fuck with me, which will only lead to ripping me off and stealing. Like, they start and I could see it. And
The
then they
only
just-
goal is to take money.
The only goal is to, how can I get what she has? I don't want to work for it. I don't want to, because today I feel like the environment of people is entitlement, and they don't want to work. I'm from the Midwest. I work. Like, I bust my ass and I pay my taxes now. I pay my bills. I try and figure it out. If something fucking hits me, I get back up. I try and walk a straight line. I try and stay honest with every single thing I do. I really pride myself in integrity. But then I meet these people that I'm proud to bring on to my circle of trust that actually are completely illegitimate and completely con artists that convince me they're just as moral and I want to help you. We're going to work together and make this life great. We could build this nonprofit and these empires, but actually they're robbing me in the back end.
Yes.
I can't believe how many there are. So now I feel like choked. Like at one point a couple of years ago, I was like, this is great to have money, but this sucks balls. Like, I don't know who to trust. Nobody. And going on a date, good luck with that. It's like, these guys, they think that they're, they look at me like, okay, she's, I always say to my brother, I tell people, don't mistake my giddiness and my kindness for weakness, because ultimately in the back end, I know exactly what the fuck you're doing. I'm going to let you get away with it to see how far you go. And I'm going to fucking sting your ass or stick right up there and just spin it around. And, but
So 2 things on that. So one,
I just feel like on guard all the time. It's unfortunate. I don't like it.
Well, so let's just think you're now 30 years older and you've had this belief this time. All of a sudden, you've got a helper that's helping you.
Yep.
And now they're the ones that are saying that he's out to steal everything. And now these beliefs that you have about you.
It happened already.
It already happened.
This is, so you guys, so that's why it's, not to put more stress on you.
No.
But
I started, one person came into my life, completely took me away from my whole family, started telling me that my brother was
talking smack about me like he's out
broke
to
into
get
my
you.
computer,
And then she
trying
started
to,
believing she was doing things to
I had to
her,
get lawyers
blaming me for
involved.
it, so she would stop talking to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just
Stop talking to
basically getting her
everybody.
separated.
That's the thing. That's a play and that playbook.
But she did it within a few months. Like, it was easy.
It's
It was
because
like,
she saw that she was vulnerable. She was at a bad time.
I was in a bad time. I was going to trial with the guy that extorted me. So I was already in a shitty area of my life. My mind, I just needed help. So I needed someone to come in and really just help me. I was so overwhelmed. I just needed somebody to help me. So Andrew even met her when I interviewed her.
Yeah. And I wasn't too impressed, but you're like, she's hired. I'm like, you just
Because I
met
just
her.
was so desperate to have anybody help me.
Sure.
I hired the wrong cat. And, I don't know how many people she's done that to or why. And, even to this day, she thinks she's innocent. And I even gave her a big loan and she'll never pay me back for that.
So the second point is when I
just
had
got
this FBI agent with me on the case where the lawyers were stealing everything. And I brought this FBI agent in and basically all FBI agents are CPAs. So they're very financially knowledgeable. So he pretended to be my CPA. And so he comes with me and we go interview this CPA who's representing the attorneys. And we're talking to him. He's a very nice man. And, he sort of admits, well, I knew they were double, triple dipping, but I just didn't think it was that bad. Wow. And I'd already replaced the trustee. And so we're just trying to do damage control. And I get out of the meeting and Agent Wrights, is his name, is with me. And I go, God, he seems like a nice guy. This is your point. So Wrights, this really like a military, exactly what you'd think of as an FBI agent, flips around on a military turnaround right in my face, right like this. And he says, Daly, prisons are filled with the nicest people. And con men are exactly that. They're the nicest people. They're the people from church.
Over nice.
Benefit of the doubt. That's what they
They're
strive
the
on.
people that are here to help you.
I'm here.
I care a lot.
Yeah.
And that's, that's why it's so hard.
It does suck, and I see like when I see elderly and I see like some caregiver treat them like shit when they're like trying to take them on a walk on the streets and stuff. And you can see that caregiver's just, this is my one walk. I'm legally entitled. I'm on camera. I have to do this. But when they put that elderly person inside, I cringe because I see the face of that caregiver and I could tell because I'm a really good people reader. And I'm like,
seething.
I can see that seething, manipulative, lying piece of shit that's trying to take care of that 80-something-year-old. And that 80-something-year-old is their kids aren't there. No one's there to help them. And I cringe. But I'm glad that, I'm so happy to have you on today because there's a lot that can be learned from what you had to say. And I know that you have a lot to offer, but there's also a lot of education to be had when it comes to your field of law. And just having a tiny bit of information and somewhere to call, like I'm going to put your information, if you don't mind, you can send it to me on the video where people can watch the video and then go, okay, well, even if you can't help them, they live in North Carolina and they need, at least, they could have a starting point of what type of law. And I love this podcast because it is lifestyle, but there's serious lifestyle that really needs to be dealt with. And people like you that come on and show my audience how important it is, because family first. And I think America was built on family and loyalty and love for country. And you're one of those people that stands by that integrity and that motto. And I can't thank you enough for being here and being so educational to my audience. Will you come back when we...
There's a lot more of these cases and stories I have. I'd love to.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me and for giving me a platform to help your audience and also answer any questions.
Yeah.
And
thank you
just
for
to
being
touch
here.
on the stuff that you two have been through.
We know
and
you-
here it's like, it's like,
Yeah.
we didn't plan any of this. It's
No,
like,
no.
here we
It's
are.
just life.
We
This
didn't
is
even think
life.
we were going to have this conversation. We're like, huh?
That's why it's...
But it's genuinely when I read, I was like, okay, I saw that you're like trust. I'm like, oh, how do you really, really handle it? And what if you do come into money and you got all these leeches around you, never had it? I never had money. So, imagine if I wasn't at least a little bit more keen than a lot.
Yes.
I would have lost it all. Like a lot of these artists that I know, these artists that make a bunch of money, with Universal Music or whatever, whoever they
Yes.
work for, they've got, they call them posses. Those posses aren't there because they love you. Those posses are there to leech and suck everything dry that you possibly have until you're no longer famous, and then you go away. Because I was in the music industry for years. Well, I learned from that. I learned knowing artists from when they first became famous, and then they were just broke. I think with athletes and a lot of those
Yes.
people. So in Orange County, we have families. We have family money. Kids inherit a bunch of money. Then they got friends everywhere. Why else do they all come around? Yeah. So
Bunch of leeches.
Yeah, but a bunch of leeches. But I mean, ultimately, if you don't have any money, even if you say you have a little nut, you have little nuts. You want to make sure
Someone's
those little
still
nuts
trying
are
to take it from you.
preserved.
Someone is always trying to take it.
You want a little nut cup.
No, I mean, you see these other people that, they invested in this or they invested in that.
Yeah.
And so that's why there's
That's
people
another
that
thing.
have 25, 50, 100 grand,
Yeah.
and that's all they have, and they put it in because this is really going to happen. The government's going to
Yeah.
approve this.
You'll
There's
be able to
oil
pay your
well that's
bills
going to
from
be
now
done.
on.
And the next thing you know, it's all gone.
Well, on Andrew's and my show, we decided that we would, because we have such great guests like you on that really bring integrity and give back, we wanted to give back. So we are giving to a charity of your choice $1,000. So if you could tell our audience, if there a particular charity that you would pick, or
absolutely.
do you know any?
So there's a charity. It's called Saddle Up Ranch, and they take care of horses.
Oh.
And it's run by a
Mama like that.
a wonderful woman who she's a Apache helicopter pilot who has PTSD, and that's how she's been able to actually rehabilitate herself. It's in Murrieta, and I'll get you more of the information on that. But
Thank you.
So she has an Apache helicopter.
so she was an
Apache
She was a
helicopter pilot.
pilot, yeah.
And
pilot.
is she a veteran?
Yes, she's a veteran.
Oh, great.
yeah, she's a veteran. And the way that she was able to deal with her PTSD
Was the horses.
Was through horses.
Oh,
and
that's
so
awesome.
now she takes a lot of broken horses and rehabs them. And
Oh, that's great. So get that information in her
right.
501c3, and we love that. And I also have, for being a part of my launch, I'm doing 10 podcast launch. I have a little gift for you.
oh my God, really? I love this.
So there's 3 little gifts in there. Just
Yes.
for you to,
The branding.
I love this.
Vargas vodka.
I love this hat, by the way. That's one of my favorite hats.
Thank
truly.
you. I they're Travis
looks like
Matthews
this,
hat.
too.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Oh, that's really good.
I don't know if I should. Actual lawyer. You gotta do it
This-
smooth.
it's
Don't try to
actual
get it
attorney.
smooth.
Actual
smooth.
attorney,
exactly.
right?
It's
Actual
more like
attorney.
this. Hi, I'm an actual attorney. Yes. James Daly. What else we got?
Keep going. A little shirt, a little cowboy shirt that says "Drink
that's-
vodka, ride a cowboy."
Oh, that's-
Everybody gets one.
Yes. Save a horse, ride a cowboy.
Well, I figured if you were the drink vodka, you can get a girl to ride the cowboy,
Hey, there's girl cowboys.
and then that's just something a little special for me to you.
Really? Can
For
I open it?
my first 10 guests, I'm
Oh my
giving them a
God,
little
that's
launch
awesome.
gift.
It's-
Andrew did the bow because I couldn't figure it out.
Andrew.
Because I know that you love to.
Oh, that's awesome. What,
You don't make much from your clients, but when you do, you have a place to put it.
Oh, nice. I love it.
A Tiffany
Thank
money
you.
clip.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Isn't
Thank
it
you
beautiful?
so much.
You're welcome.
You're so kind.
I just thought, a little quality and less quantity and some giving back would be great for the
Less
show.
is more.
Well, thank you for being here, James.
Thank
you are
you so much.
amazing. And thank you for educating my audience.
Thank you very much for being here.
And being very logical, being the daily logic we needed.
Andrew, thanks very much.
Yeah, thank
Good
you.
man.
Cheers.
Your sister's awesome. Too,
Yes,
by
she
the way.
is.
Hey, did you hear that?
You're smart.
Yes.
Oh, now you are.
Actual sister.
She's vibrant. She's dynamic. She's.
James, let's do actual attorney together.
All
Ready?
right.
One,
Hang on. Let me fix
fix your hair.
There we go.
Ready,
Whatever.
set.
There we go. Yes.
Actual attorney.
Actual attorney.
Wait, you gotta say it. You gotta say it together. Wait.
All right,
I'm
right.
James Daly.
Yes. I'm James Daly. I'm an actual attorney.
Peace, love, and happiness.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Daily Logic Check.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Daily Logic Check. I'm Elizabeth Vargas, your host, with my co-host, Andrew Vargas. If you like what you saw, you like what you see, click like, subscribe, follow us, and support us on Patreon. Peace, love, and happiness.